Hi, you guys. It's me. It's Shauna. So, actually, my name's Shauna Marie. I just go by my middle name. But, anyways, so this video is about patterns you're supposed to break. And, so I'd asked the cards to give me one card that tells me what pattern people are supposed to break. This is more of a collective. It's not specific for any zodiac. So, if you're watching this, it's meant for you. If you've been repeating patterns after patterns, keep doing the same thing. Maybe you're copying what other people are doing, trying to make something work, and it's not. This is advice to you. Stop. Okay. The best thing you do is to stop trying to do what other people do. Okay. So you're meant to walk an unmarked trail. You're meant to walk to the beat of your own drum. Create your own path. Do your own thing. You're not meant to copy others. You're not meant to do what other people what you want to do. That's why when you try to force something that's not meant to be, that's why there's so much loss. Okay? But if you were to stop trying to force it and just start allow things to happen, right? Just allow things like a flower. A flower's going to grow regardless of what you do, right? The only thing you really do is water the flower, correct? Maybe, oh gosh. um, fertilize it. Sorry, I lost that word. You might want to fertilize it, right? Um, but a lot of times we don't do that. So think of life as a garden, okay? And think of one little plot that you have. You dig a hole, you put a seed in, and you cover it, and then you water it. And then the next day you water it because because there's a 50-50 chance that flower or that veggie will grow from that seed, right? Because sometimes not everything grows from the seed, sometimes it does. So I want you to think of life as that, okay? When you nurture something, it grows, and sometimes you just have to do your best and see what happens. Same thing with the garden. Sometimes you just have to do your best, see what happens. A lot of times what happens is we fool ourselves thinking that we have to force something. That if I will it, if I do it, right? If I say that this is what I want, this is going to happen. Well, it's not always going to be like that. Sometimes you just got to let things happen. So let's say that you planted a seed and it wasn't growing. So instead of doing that, you go and you put another seed in. Still didn't grow. And so you decide, you only wait a day or two and it still didn't grow. You're being impatient. So you go and you buy a plant from a garden center and you plant it. Well, you didn't give the seeds enough time to grow, and so here they're growing. And now it's conflicting with the plant you just built. You just planted, sorry, not built, planted, and it dies. And then they die because there is not enough to go around. They're too crowded, correct? So I want you to see life as that. Sometimes you just need to focus on one thing and be patient and wait and nurture it. Just do something, right? Same thing with somebody who's doing a channel or they're doing a social media and they want to build on that social media. They're going to continue to post every day. They're going to try to push it and try to put, the more they post, the more they get into the algorithm and the faster that they grow. They have to put a lot of work into it. It's not saying it happens overnight, right? So don't try to lie to yourself about something that is going to be honest with yourself. Things take time, okay? And if you really want to find your way, go down the unmarked trail, meaning that you need to walk to the beat of your own drum. Don't follow. You're not meant to follow others. We're not meant to follow others. We're all meant to do our own thing, our own way, okay? Just because they're traditional cultures, it really doesn't mean you're supposed to follow it. We are meant to be independent and have our own beliefs, And something that I've always taken seriously is when I am around others, and if I find like that they're smarter than me, or maybe they know more than I do, sometimes my ego gets the best of me. But then I have to remind myself, no, you know what? They're just more. They just have more information that I do about that particular subject. Doesn't mean that they're better than me. And so I'll listen to what they have to offer. Doesn't mean that I have to take their advice. It doesn't mean that I have to believe anything they say. I'm just listening. I'm listening to what they have to say. I'm taking notes, mental notes. I don't sit there actually with a notepad, but I'm taking mental note about everything they're saying, because it doesn't mean that it has to be my path, but I can take into consideration their point of view. 9 times out of 10, I will tell you right now, I will not take their advice. And that's just because I've taken other people's advice and it kind of blew up in my face. And so I choose not to take people's advice because only I know what's best for me. And I notice that whenever I take other people's advice, I usually find myself in a predicament. But if I follow my heart and I listen to my intuition, I keep myself out of trouble. And if you want to do something, but you're so nervous and you're not sure if you should do it, then don't do it. Okay? Because that's your intuition telling you it's not a good idea. All right? Everybody says, "Oh, it's just your nerves. You're just nervous." No. I don't think you should be too bold. I mean, yeah, be bold, but if it's something that is a risk and you've got something in your mind telling you, "Oh, that's a huge risk, you shouldn't do it," don't do it. Listen to your intuition first. Okay? And so with that being said, so if you start to follow your own path and you start doing you, okay, you start listening to what makes you happy, what fills your cup, you will open up a windfall of opportunity. But when you follow others and do what others do, you tend to forget to fill your own cup, okay? Because what happens is okay, think of it this way. I'm going to use another metaphor. Let's say you're at a party and other people are drinking their drinks and you're curious about what they're drinking. And so, you see what's being poured in. And instead of you pouring your own cup, you're watching them. And there they are, they're sitting there drinking and having a good time, and you're sitting there wondering what they're drinking. Stop wondering, okay? Just go out and find out and do it yourself. And if you don't like what they're drinking, drink something else, okay? It doesn't mean that I'm saying to go out and drink. But, it could be like orange juice or juice, right? So often we consider other people to know more than we do. And so we want to follow them. You don't want to follow them. Don't follow people. Because believe it or not, those people are kind of leading you towards a cliff. Metaphorically. Okay? Sometimes even literally, especially if you're got somebody who's really good at manipulating people. But you don't want to follow another person who leads you to a different place of where you want to be. And that's why it's so important that you be okay with just being by yourself, doing your own thing, and and even if it goes against the family dynamic, sometimes you gotta do what's best for you. Okay? And that's kind of where this is going. It's telling you to, because I just see that there's a lot of tears that have been shed, especially for those who are watching this, because nothing's been working. You need to ask yourself, are you really trying to do your own thing, or are you trying to do what other people do? A lot of people who have succeeded didn't do what others did. They did something different. Saying that other people said would be dumb, but they still did it anyways, and they're successful. Think about it that way, okay? We're all here to lean on each other when we need to. We're here to support each other and lift each other up. But we're not meant to live our lives surrounded and wrapped around other people's beliefs. We're meant to have our own beliefs, um, our own um, successes. Because I've just never even seen, I've never had anything succeed when anybody told me to do what they said. And I actually did. I actually had this one friend who told me to do something. And then when I told her how it blew up my face, she told me, she goes, yeah, she goes, that's why I would never do it. Then why would you give me that suggestion? You know? It kind of just, I looked at her differently from that day forward. I realized I should be listening to her. She kind of did me wrong. You know, but just keep in mind, okay? Follow your own path, do your own thing. Walk to the beat of your own drum. And if you don't know what that is, do some meditations to figure that out. Even if you gotta try and fail a couple times. Alright, you guys, thank you. And if you like reading the emails in the box below, and if you enjoyed this reading, please consider subscribing to my channel. Bye.